We'll now make a simple Excel VBA program. We'll choose to use a button to run the program. There is a way of doing that, for example using a user-defined function. And the user-defined function is what we saw last time, but we'll choose to use a command as we'll do right now. First of all, we'll click on the insert. Now we've got to make sure that you've actually got a developer toolbar. To do that, we can go through File and then Options, and then you'll find the Customize ribbon, and then the developer. You must make sure that it's checked, and that will therefore appear on your ribbon. It will be slightly different for different versions of Excel, but usually we'll start off by going here and then going to Options. It's just slightly different for Excel, Microsoft Office 365, and so on. So it's best just to Google Developer on the ribbon, and then Excel VBA for your specific version. Okay, so assume that we've got a developer ribbon here. Then we want to choose Insert. Now be careful, there's another insert over here. That's not the one we're talking about. A bit confusing. There's an insert here, so we'll click on Insert and then choose the ActiveX controls, and not the form controls. They're rather old-fashioned, but they're still with us for the moment. But we choose an ActiveX control. We choose a command button, and click and drag a button right there. Now to access the code, we can double click on the button, and that takes us into the Visual Basic editor, which is here. So we've got now, you can see that we've got 3 sheets here. Now these 3 sheets will correspond to the 3 sheets down here of the Excel, and so there's a code sheet behind every Excel sheet. Now I've lost my VBA there for the moment, so I could double click on here to get it back again. Another way is to come down here and right click on here and view code. Another way, by the way, is Alt F11 will also take you into the VBA. Okay, so we're now going to write a little bit of code in here, and we're going to write some code to put a number into cell A1. I think I'll just bring that right down so that it won't interfere and overlap, which is a good idea. You can see your code being applied simultaneously, basically. So what I'm going to type some code and put something into cell A1, range A1. Now, with a inverted commas there, full stop value. Value is what we call a property. It's a property that an object has. We have a range here, which is an object, and then it can have a property. In this case it's a value property, so it's the value that the range will have. So I can put that equal to some number or other, and then I can take the design off here. Now why would I want to have the design on? So that we can move our button around or make it slightly bigger or smaller. I'll just bring this down here, by the way, and make sure there's enough room for the result to appear into A1. Now notice as I click away in the code window, the VBA, Visual Basic Editor, as I click away, watch what happens here. The range is capitalized. Now range is a keyword, and as such I'll capitalize it with an R, but it's probably a good idea to type all your keywords, all your typing in the VBA should be lowercase, and then when it capitalizes it for you, you know that you've got, you know that the spelling is correct. So okay, so what we need to do now is to run the program. We need to take the design off. Now we can do that in a couple of ways. Here is the design button. We can simply click that and take the design off, or we can actually find it here somewhere. There you are. Just there's the design mode, which you can turn it off from here as well if you want to. But okay, so I'm going to turn it off from here. That is to say, the design mode off. And now, when I click my button, it will run the program, run the code, and put the number 45 in here. Now, if we want to do some editing, we can, but in the code here in the VBA, what I'm going to do is make an error. So I'll just change something here so the spelling is wrong. And now when I run the code, oh dear, what's this? Sub-function not defined, whatever that might mean. Let's say we'll click OK. And we've got a yellow line here now, and that yellow line indicates the program is stopped at that particular place. So what I should do is to click this button up here, which will stop the code, and then I can edit it. But let's say I make an error and I don't actually do that. And also I'm going to have this screen, the Excel, covering the VBE. And now if I click my button, it seems as if the code is still working, but it's not. So that's quite a trap really. So what we need to do is to click the stop button here, or the reset button, stops the code, and then I can fix up the code. And the way to do that is really using the undo button. Well, that's the easiest way to do it. I could just retype it. But the undo button, and while I'm here, I'll make a change. What I'm going to do is, instead of putting a number in here, I'm going to put some text. And text is always enclosed with inverted commas. Text is also called a string. But if I see here I've got a number in here, I know it's a number because it's right aligned. Now if I now click the button, that will be replaced by the text, and you can see it's left aligned, so indeed it is a bit of text that's being placed in as well. What are the things that we've got here? Well, we've got this thing, a sub, and correspondingly end sub. This, if you like, is a section of code where you can just place your own code as you're trying it out. It really stands for subroutine, so that's the start of the subroutine and that's the end of the subroutine. But that doesn't bother us much. Just that's where you write the code. When you double click on your button, that appears automatically. Private, that means it's private to that particular sheet. Sheet 1, as you can see, it's the sheet 1 code sheet. Private means that that particular subroutine is not easily accessed from outside of that sheet. It's private to that particular sheet. You could actually delete it. You might as well just delete it if you wish. Or you can type public, and as well means it isn't. It doesn't make any difference. Just you could, in fact, just leave it out if you wish. Option explicit is used for checking spelling. In particular, when we've got some variables, we want to make sure they're consistently spelled throughout the whole project. That doesn't concern us at the moment. We'll have a bit more to say about that later. But for the moment, option explicit is there, but it doesn't do anything at the moment. Unless we've got some variables down here, then we can see what effect that is.